Test, test, one, two, three. What's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. Friendly little reminder, the stock market will be closed tomorrow, which, if I'm not mistaken, is January 18th, and it's in observance to MLK Day. So I hope that you guys enjoy your 3-day weekend. I wanted to keep today's video super short and sweet, and we're simply going to be talking about the top 10 stocks that you all see value in. All we ask you to do throughout this Sunday stock talk is to just share the stock that you want me to break down in the ticker call out format, and we can go from there. So as many of you guys saw, the market pulled back on Friday, and if anything, it's still pulling back a little bit. Not anything crazy. There were specific news based off of, Biden being, when it comes down to the new stimulus plan that he has set up, as well as the idea of raising taxes on, certain companies that were more than anticipated. One of the things that I mainly want to talk about is the market pulling back doesn't mean that you have to freak out. If anything, they're healthy pullbacks, and these happen all the time. You guys could see that when it makes new highs, it's nice for something to kind of correct itself for a little bit, especially if you're a proactive trader or a proactive investor. You can take advantage of these so-called good deals, buy them for a better price, prepare or set yourself up for, a better trade, and then be able to sell it when they become overbought. So it doesn't surprise me that the market pulled back. It looks like it's validating the SMA line as of now as a potential support. It doesn't, of course, have to continue to do this. Patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to. I'm very excited to follow up with this overall week because so many things sold off. I think a lot of you guys can take that into consideration. That means that a lot of stocks are a better price, right, for a better deal as of right now, which is great, especially for long-term investors or even traders, right? It doesn't mean that you have to buy them right now because things can get worse, right? But it means that you can at least begin to be a little bit more proactive with, something smells like it's burning here. It might be cooking, but yeah, let's go ahead and get right to it. I'm going to say what's up to the people tuning on in. So what's going on, Francisco? What's going on, Brock? We got Aneric, Michael. I appreciate you guys tuning on in. Brett, Squinty Eyes. We got Wes. Is that I don't know how to pronounce your last name. What's going on? Terry, Little Yazi, Lucedo. How you doing? Brett, Francisco, Blanca. We got Hava, Craig, Eric, Antonio, Irwin, Sunshine, Rafael, TC. Appreciate you guys being here. What's going on, Monica, Thomas, Nathan, Cal, Tyler. The whole team is here. Bruna. Good morning. Not good morning, well, good afternoon. I hope that you guys have had a pretty solid weekend, and hopefully you guys are pumped for the 3-day weekend. I think a lot of you guys might agree with me, but I really look forward to Mondays because we get to trade. So I'm sure a lot of you guys fall into that as well. Market is closed tomorrow, so just a friendly reminder on that. But let's go ahead and get right to it. We got Ismail. For all those asking, do we have this in the ticker call out format? Here we go. So just pin this. So if you want me to break down your stock, just make sure you check that out right there. So appreciate that, Ismail. Ticker symbol TWTR. So this is one that I've personally been watching as well. Twitter aggressively sold off. It's been pulling back anyways, but aggressively sold off due to the news of President Trump being banned, and this acted as a negative catalyst, right, with all the backlash. Aggressively making lower lows, lower highs. There is no question that based off of where it was at before and where it's at right now, that it does have decent upside potential, right? It's around 25% that it has to offer. Twitter can, of course, continue to sell off. So my biggest focus, that we've talked about before is if you're under the PDT rule, you might want to be a little bit more conservative on when you decide to buy and how much you decide to buy to anticipate worst case scenario, and that means that Twitter continues to sell off. Of course, we want to buy something for a good deal, and if you do choose to buy Twitter, just make sure you take into consideration that it can continue to sell off. Don't just always think about the upside, but this is 100% a stock that I'm personally paying attention to because that upside potential is so attractive. So I already have my alert set up on this. I just set an alert just in case it makes new lows. And the beautiful thing about this is we've talked about the 3 stages of a reversal. Right now it's still in the rejection phase, meaning that it's still making lower lows and lower highs. And what I would like to look for is the consolidation phase, right? Where it sells off, it consolidates, it no longer is making lower lows, it breaks above the EMA line, and then begins to make some higher highs. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So Justin Da Silva, I think you put a ticker symbol Y. So here we go, ticker symbol Y with a nice little pullback. It looks like it has pretty low volume. Yeah, so it has low enough volume that it wouldn't be something that would meet my criteria. I see why you're paying attention to it. It just recently pulled back from 640, pulling back to right now lows of 600. So you're trying to see if it, is worth it with that margin. That's about 6%, not bad. You could of course still continue to sell off. My biggest thing right now would be, it's so much easier. It's still not easy, but it's so much easier to make money in the market when the overall direction is in your favor. And as of right now, with ticker symbol Y, it's making lower lows and lower highs. So make sure you set those alerts that remind you and alert you when it begins to indicate signs of an uptrend, and you can always average up into it, right? It's just one of many stocks out there. Don't try to force it, especially if that overall direction is against you as of right now. So Michael Mendez, G-E-V-O, right? Yeah, G-E-V-O. Here we go. Alrighty, so this one was a very popular stock last week. I don't trade stocks like this. I don't trade pump and dumps. I don't trade penny stocks. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't. I just want to share with you why I don't. It's a very high risk, high reward. I can see why people with a smaller dollar amount choose to trade these more lucrative stocks. My biggest focus is consistency, and a big focus of mine because of the dollar amount that I trade with is risk management. Would I recommend this for an absolute beginner? You need to learn how to walk before you run. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm not here to challenge you, or press you in any way. I just want you to know that, yeah, of course, with these very aggressive pushes, you can make a great deal of money just as much as you can lose, right? Because these things do pull back, and it's very overbought, it's consolidating, and it wouldn't be a surprise if it does pull back. You need to make sure that your risk management is A1 and that you understand when to lock in profits when that hype and that momentum begins to peak, right? So just something to take into consideration. I personally don't trade specific stocks like this. Again, that's just me. But if you want to, just make sure that you don't just take into consideration the upside, but you always take into consideration the downside and watch that position size. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one, FCEL. So FCEL, here we go. Nice little pullback, very consistent uptrend pattern. We could see that it tends to pull back to around the SMA line. It's doing a lot of consolidation right around $16. Let's set the alerts. Let's allow the opportunity to present itself. So the way that I would approach this is the more it sells off, the better, right? Because that means that you can buy it for a better deal. We want to see for the break and watch for the break above the EMA line, an indication of an uptrend. And then that's when it normally begins to rally once again after it corrects itself. So as of right now, it just looks like a little bit of a correction. It does have earnings as well. So taking that into consideration on the 21st, that can act as either a positive or negative catalyst depending on how that earnings report comes out. So because things are so uncertain and it's still pulling back, I would personally wait for the earnings report to come out, see how the market reacts, and if it continues to sell off, then guess what? You just saved yourself a bad entry. You can buy it for a better deal, but you still want to watch that position size if that overall direction is against you. Let's go ahead and check this one out. So you don't have to donate, Luis. Sorry. I'll do the breakdown for you, but just all I ask you is to, if you want me to break down your stock, to post it in the ticker call out format. I'll break down Snap for you. Just let me break down this one for Alex. So ticker symbol NIO. I put O. Here we go. So I like this one. And the reason I say I like this one, you guys might be like, well, Ricky, you don't really trade it. You're right. I don't trade NIO. I personally think it's a very hyped up stock. It's almost like a Tesla, right? In the sense that just that this one has less, I would say, of a foundation. This one does really well, of course, when Tesla does really well. Overall market pulled back, so it makes sense on why this thing is pulling back. It does very good when it does pull back, validating the SMA line. Please just watch that position size, understand when you're reaching overbought levels, understand when there's certain news that's very relevant, that makes the stock very relevant, that makes it peak, and then once that news becomes less relevant, it corrects itself. And that's not anything that it's like, oh, it's a horrible stock. It's just like, that's how it works, right? When that demand begins to shift and becomes less relevant or begins to shift elsewhere, then we see these little corrections. So it tends to bounce off the SMA line. That's essentially what I would look out for, to see if we get closer to the SMA line to get it for a better deal, and then ride it back up once you get that confirmation of that reversal. But I like that you're paying attention to something that's bullish. Of course, a lot of people are talking about ticker symbol NIO and all its potential. I think it would be amazing for Tesla to have a competitor. We've seen this try to happen many times. Just please just watch that position size and understand how it trades. Understand when it's overbought, understand when it's oversold, and how to level off those positions. So I'm going to set alerts for both sides, and then we can follow up with it then. The next one's going to be Snapchat, right? So Snap. Yep, nice little pullback. So it peaked, hit 180-day highs. I actually really like this one. It pulled back, and it tends to bounce around this general area of $50. So let's set that alert. This is as simple as it gets, right? If it corrects itself and it begins to reverse back up, let's see what the upside potential is. So from $50 right now to 57, that's about 14%. So potential is there. Now we just need to wait for confirmation, but also set our alerts. If it begins to make lower lows and lower highs, that's a break of pattern. And guess what? You saved yourself from a bad entry if you actually hold and discipline yourself to wait for confirmation, especially if you're under the PDT rule. How many times have you guys bought in a stock, right? And it's because you think it's about to do something where you could have just given it time and you would have seen that, wow, you definitely should not have bought that stock. So it's better to be safe than sorry, especially when you're just getting started. I'm all about testing out new things, testing the waters, but do that in an effective way that you focus on learning from your mistakes and not just obsessive about how much money can I make on this trade. So I appreciate you sharing that one with us on Snapchat. Do I think I can go back to 60 as a very common pattern of consolidating around this area? So it makes sense on why it could find a support. MACD, RSI, all that looks great. Now we just need to wait for that confirmation. So I'm excited to follow up with it, and I think it has pretty good profit potential. So we just did a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do 4 more stocks. Breaking down 4 more stocks. If you guys haven't done so already, I know it's a lot to ask, but if you guys think that you guys can drop a thumbs up, it means a lot. So we got ticker symbol TQQQ. So very popular one that I've traded and that I trade, right? I love that you're bringing this one up when the market pulls back, because it's right at the SMA line. So this would be viewed as like, oh, the ideal time to really pay attention. So I think it makes perfect sense why we're talking about it in today's Sunday Stock Talk, because it's at a prime level based off of previous support levels where it tends to bounce off that SMA line. So let's set those alerts on both sides. Let's wait for that confirmation. If you choose to buy in early, watch that position size just to anticipate a pullback. Don't think that you have it all figured out, and I'm excited to follow up with that one. So I really am happy that you brought this one to my attention. I don't know why I didn't think about it. All right, here we go. Ticker symbol CCIV. So ticker symbol CCIV. Here we go. So, okay, I did hear a lot about this one. I'm not here to step on anyone's toes. I'm not here to, if you love this stock and you think it's going to go to the moon, I wish you nothing but the best. It goes from no volume to a lot of volume, and it's showing every sign of a pump and dump, as a lower cap stock. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that if it pushes up this much within a short period of time, you can't be surprised that it pulls back. So if that momentum is there and you want to take it day by day because you want to day trade it and it works well for you, all power to you. Watch that position size, and your risk management better be A1. You also have to take into consideration the downside. So once it breaks its pattern and it begins to pull back, you need to understand when the rally is over and when it's time to walk away. So I appreciate you sharing this one. I just want to make sure that you guys approach it with the right intent, right? Let's go ahead and break down the next one. SRNE. SRNE. Okay, so this one looks a little bit more on the overbought side. So Sorrento Therapeutics, definitely a little bit more on the overbought side. I would say that this thing can definitely pull back, even if it continues to uptrend, which it doesn't hold for a very long period of time. It looks like it pushes up and then corrects itself, pushes up and corrects itself. So a really nice push. Doesn't normally hold very strong around these levels. So would anticipate a pullback. So I don't think that one would be my top pick for the week. But again, if it pulls back and it validates the EMA line as a support and it continues to pick back up, then you can follow up with it then. So we already broke down FCEL. So just a heads up on that. So we got RCL. So is this Royal Cruise Line? What is this one? Yeah, Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. So a lot of consolidation. Direction is kind of choppy on this one. We don't really know if this thing is increasing in value or going to pull back. Right now it's showing a lot of consolidation within this general range of a resistance right around $77 and a support right around $70. So if anything, it's pulling back right now with a more common support level at 70 and a more common resistance level at 75, 77. So just a heads up on that. The SMA line that used to act as a support is now acting as a resistance, so watch out for that. Let's break down two more. So two more, and I will call it a live stream. Ticker symbol NVRO. So NVRO. Here we go. Okay, so I like this one. I like how consistent it is. I like the overall bullish pattern, right? If anything, just based off of recent patterns, it's more on the overbought side. It bounced off the SMA line. It had a nice push up. Looking at previous levels, it wouldn't surprise me if it pulls on back to the SMA line and then tries to continue to push back up. So just a heads up on that. I would set an alert as I get closer to the SMA line. That tends to be a better buy based off of previous patterns. And as it approaches the 180 or this ascending resistance level, then those are the overbought levels. So it makes sense on why you want to lock in profits there. So let's do one more, and then I'll let you guys get back to your little Sunday fun day. So let's see which one we're going to be ending with. Let's see if I can get these two. So VZ and NAC. So Verizon Wireless, woo woo. So I used to work for them. For those that have ever asked, Ricky, what did you do before you traded? How'd you buy your first house? I had a commission-based job with Verizon. I was working full-time. I had commission, and it allowed me to qualify by myself for a house. I also live in Arizona, so the cost of living is a lot cheaper, but just a little heads up for you guys. Really nice pullback. So I like this. I like that we're talking about it. It has been continuously making lower lows and lower highs based off of previous support levels. I can see why you're paying attention to it. It has a lot to prove, right? It's been consistently selling off. So what makes it different now than before, right? Based off of last week, why can't it continue to drop? So that's what I would essentially look for. We need to make sure that we wait for those 3 stages of reversal, especially when something is so consistently bearish as of right now. And also, if you choose to buy in early, then please make sure you take into consideration that position size. So I'm excited to follow up with that one. And the last thing that we're going to talk about is NAK. Oh man, I don't like this one. So this thing looks like a pump and dump. It looks like it just recently got pumped once again, and it's already pulling on back as the volume begins to die out. So in my opinion, right, I would not trade something like this, and that's just my 2 cents. But if you like it and you think it's a winner and it works well for you, at the end of the day, there are so many different ways on how to approach the market and still get that same end result. Just hold yourself accountable. Let's focus on consistent progress, learn from those mistakes, and actually learn from them, right? It's not that you never repeat them over, you never make the same mistake again, but that there's some form of progress that just gets you one step closer to your overall goal. So, all right. How did we do? We went through quite a bit, right? We went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Lucky number 13. Well, I had a lot of fun with you guys. I wanted to keep it pretty short and sweet. If you have any specific, isn't CCIV a pump and dump? I think it is. And yeah, I've talked about it before that way. But again, I'm not here to, just excited to follow up with the overall market. If I didn't get to your specific stock and you have it in the ticker call out format, please, especially if you're part of the Learn Plan Profit group, go to the Discord for Learn Plan Profit and go to the group alerts. Just make sure that you post it here and that you tag me, and then I can direct message you or I'll tag you in that chat. And if you're part of TechBuds, you can post it in the watch list. And I'd love to, on my free time, that's probably what I'm going to be doing today and tomorrow, is I'm going to be just breaking down some stocks and try to prepare for the overall week. Just think about it. The overall market sold off. And although that might not be great for a lot of people, if you're not already invested in any of these stocks, that means that we have a large pool of stocks that are at a discounted rate that we just have to filter. So that's what I'm really excited about. If I find any good ones, just expect a video of those stocks tomorrow. All I ask you to do is to share your top stock in the watch list or in the group alert section, depending if you're part of LPP or if you're just part of our free Discord on TechBuds Solutions. So I really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope that I earned your thumbs up. I wish you guys nothing but an amazing 3-day weekend. And am I going to post this on my channel? Yeah, so this thing will go public right after I close it out. So don't oversleep on Tuesday. Caesar, I can't have you calling me out. I slept in 25 minutes because I trade live at market open, and we joke around all the time. But I definitely slept in one of the weeks last week, and the LPP team was like, "Where's Ricky? Where's Ricky?" And yeah, I slept. I had to get my beauty sleep. Come on, I have a lot of beauty sleeps to catch up on. Looking like this, so looking a little ugly over here. But I really do appreciate you guys' time. Please, all the links are provided for you down below. If you guys want to join our free Facebook group, our free Discord chat, we have over 298,000 members, and that's that first link down below. If you guys want to be able to watch me trade live as soon as Tuesday at market open, I might sleep in, I might not. But if you want to learn more about it, click the second link down below, learn a little bit more about it, what it has to offer, and we'll go from there. So I appreciate you guys' time. Continue working hard, continue following dreams. Let your passion be what drives your success. And like always, let's make sure that